is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get back to it.
Cars battled flash floods and commuters faced travel chaos as torrential downpours and gales battered the UK this week. What's left behind of Britain land after 12 years of Conservative rule was destroyed by Storm Claudio this week. Or, as the Daily Mail puts it, the French storm caused power cuts in part of Britain. The French storm. Because it comes over here, knocks down our trees. In a perfect metaphor for Great Britain, a section of Brighton's West Pier was destroyed during the storm. The pier had already been comprehensively destroyed. It was hard to think of any way in which it could be destroyed anymore. But that EU storm found a way. The windy weather also caused two giant baubles to bounce down London's Tottenham Court Road in the early hours of Tuesday morning. They are reportedly part of an art installation by the artist Tom Shannon, which was due to remain on display in St Giles Square until Friday, and was last seen passing Goods Street Tube and then Warren Street, and is now approaching Camden. Tonight, most parts dry, and I sincerely hope that your parts are dry too. Chilly in the east, turning wet and windy in the west later, which is at least one too many W's in the same sentence. Turning wet and windy in the west. Tomorrow, a band of rain, heavy in places, turning brighter in the west by afternoon, windy. And then Sunday to Tuesday, windy, rainy, showery, sunny. Generally mild. Ooh, would you like to hear the long-range forecast?
No.
OK, next 2 weeks. At first, bright and breezy, then a northwest, a southeast split is likely. One's going to get rain and the one area won't. That is, one area in the northwest will get a certain type of weather, and then the area in the southeast will get another type of weather. One's going to be rainy and one's going to be dry. Can you guess which one's which? Checking for you while you wait. Aha! Okay, Glasgow, are you ready? It is not raining at the moment. You believe that?
No.
But it will rain tomorrow, Saturday. And then in Glasgow it will rain on Sunday and Monday and then Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday and raining on Thursday and raining on Friday, and then raining next Saturday the 12th. It will also be raining on Sunday the 13th. And then raining on the following Monday, and then raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and basically every day for the rest of your lives. That's 2 weeks of continuous rain, which is exactly what it was like when I lived there. I lived there for, I don't know, can you say that you lived there for 3 months, or is that too impermanent? Do you have to say I stayed there? I don't really care. I lived there for 3 months.
Correct.
It rained every day, without exception. Not that I'm upset about it.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
So the northwest will get rain over the next 2 weeks, and the southeast is going to be drier. Unsettled weather to the northwest, more settled conditions likely in the southeast. This is for the next 2 weeks. Breezy at times for many through this period, with gales likely in the northwest. Staying generally mild throughout, with especially mild nights. Staying generally mild throughout, with especially mild nights? We'll take it. I deliberately didn't go for the 2 weeks following that. I mean, I could have given that to you, but it wouldn't have been a happy end. And I always like a happy end. Some suspiciously keen tweeters and callers. This one says, some people claim that it's going to be tough for love rat Matt Hansy Hancock entering the jungle, where he may have to eat a kangaroo's area. But let's keep things in perspective. For a start, the ordeal will be far worse for the kangaroo, says Darryl in Hove. And not the last joke along those lines I hear tonight, I bet. I don't do jokes. Where to even begin with this bloke? I mean, seriously. What's going on here? Let's take this call in... no, I don't know. Should I? It seems a bit soon. Oh, OK then. Southend. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I am great, mate.
Hello. Would you mind saying happy birthday to my partner, please? He's 50 today.
Absolutely.
I thought you'd say that, but I thought it was worth a try.
Yeah, well, you don't get anywhere if you don't try, and on this occasion, you still don't get anywhere. How's that? All right.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Cheers, my dear. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Shouts going out. Are you joking? Right, shall we do Cruella? Cruella Braverman visited the migrant processing centre at Manston, Kent this week. She boarded a helicopter gunship at dawn. She came in low out of the rising sun, and about a mile out, she put on the music. We will frighten them on the beaches, and we will fly them to Rwanda or some other place that wants to take our money without actually having to do anything. Basically, we'll just throw enough cruelty and money at the problem while telling anyone who wonders why it isn't working that it's lefty lawyers and it's probably Jeremy Corbyn's fault. Thanks a lot, Jezza. See what you've done? Made us cry. Cruella Braverman is the actual Home Secretary, if you can believe that. She is the answer to the question, how could it possibly get worse than Priti Patel? I bet you didn't think when Priti Patel left that they would replace her with someone worse, did you? I mean, you were racking your brains thinking, well, who could it possibly be that would be worse than her? Then Fishy Sunak shows up and goes, ta-da! God, what an absolute shower. Actually, she is the answer to the question, what would it look like if you assembled an entire person out of the body parts that had been thrown in the skip by God because they were too awkward and gangly? And then you dipped the result in the bath of gormlessness and hatred. I mean, seriously, Fishy, is that the best that the Conservative Party have to offer? And if so, how can the Tories be left in charge of running a bath, let alone a whole country? Cruella Braverman is under pressure to get a grip on the Channel migrant crisis because that's how the Tories won Brexit, by promising fewer foreigners. And that's how they won the last election. The last election that we were allowed to have. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually the last election we are ever going to have, because at this point nothing would surprise me at all. That was the big promise. Vote the way we tell you, and there won't be any of those nasty foreigners coming over here and taking our jobs. Well, since we left the EU, there's more coming than there ever has been. We can't send them back to France like we used to be able to when we were in the European Union. And we have about 1 million jobs that aren't getting done. But the government can't let in hard-working people because they're stuck pretending that we don't need them and Brexit would stop them coming. So we do need them, but we can't have them because of something that was promised by a bunch of crooks and charlatans, and some were good people, I suppose, eh, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
How's Brexit going, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
I mean, think of that. The reason we've got like 1 million jobs that can't be filled, and all of these people coming over here, these hard-working people, I mean, brave, industrious types, fit, willing to bend over in a field and yank turnips out the ground. The reason that we can't let them work is because we were promised that we wouldn't have any of them. So the government can't put them to work, because then the vacuity of their argument would be plain for all to see. So we've shot off one foot, which was Brexit, and we've decided to tough it out and shoot off the other foot to pretend that we meant to shoot the first foot off. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
I mean, you couldn't make it up. You could, but no one would believe it. So Cruella travelled to the site by RAF Chinook helicopter. Of course she did. She wanted to send out a signal that she is in control. A tough guy Home Secretary who will take that message in a bottle thrown over the fence by a little girl pleading for help and use it as evidence against her for littering. She was spotted disembarking from the largest, most threatening and noisiest helicopter she could find at short notice, wearing a Top Gun-style pilot's helmet. I would imagine that those things don't come in a shape that would fit her head. Have you seen her profile? It's an unusual skull, admit it. You know, just like those military costumes that Bodger used to squeeze himself into. They didn't come in his size either. I'm guessing she had to have one specially made to fit her unique head shape. And while I'm on it, what's up with her thumb? I mean, she's always photographed giving a thumbs up. But hers seemed to bend at 90 degrees halfway up, like she's broken it trying to squash a bug. Or a puppy. After landing, Cruella Braverman was ushered into a waiting black BMW German car and driven in a 6-car convoy to the main gate to hear the roar of approval from the people incarcerated there. 3 cheers for the Home Secretary, they said. Hip hip! While 2 police helicopters buzzed overhead, Cruella was shown some of the tents set up for migrants to live in, which is all that the world's 6th largest economy can afford for the 1% of the world's migrants that make their way here. She also visited the catering facilities and the mobile shower blocks. Shower blocks?
Warning, warning.
The Home Secretary later bravely left the site through a side gate, which was a surprise to the media who were gathered at the main entrance. She bravely ran away.
Bye-bye.
Meanwhile, ministers admitted that the Manston facility is not operating legally, is overcrowded, and has reported outbreaks of disease. Those must be the lefty, activist, Guardian-reading, tofu-eating Conservative Party ministers who admitted that. A Downing Street spokesmodel revealed that the Prime Minister Fishy Sunak is receiving twice daily updates on the situation at the centre. Really? Twice daily updates? What, once at breakfast and then one at 11's? Or do they space them out more than that? And what does the update consist of? Yeah, they're still there. Meanwhile, Cruella's decision to use a military helicopter to get there caused comment. It's a bit like doing the hospital rounds in a tank. But sources close to the Home Secretary said she used the helicopter so that, and this is a quote, she could see the breadth of the coastline that Border Force officials are having to monitor. Really? She took a £5,000 an hour double-rotor blade troop carrier, which makes a noise like the earth being pulled apart, so she could see what the coastline looks like? She could have bought a postcard in Falmouth. They show the coastline. She could have looked it up on a map. The internet has the entire coastline photographed and videoed. Could she not have found something less expensive and that wouldn't have made her look so desperate to make an impression? I mean, did she do it because she's not very good at her job? Or is it the job? To act mean and heartless and cause endless distractions from the real event, which appears to be the wholesale flogging off of everything we have left in this country for the benefit of the few people that donate 6-figure sums to the Conservative Party. Because if that's her job, being a giant distraction engine, then she's doing very well indeed.
Thank you.
And it would tell you everything you need to know about Fishy Sunak. Meanwhile, the local MP was very upset. The local MP, you know Natalie Elphicke, don't you? Yeah, that's her. Natalie Elphicke, the Tory MP for Dover, accused Cruella of failing to meet with local MPs and council leaders during her trip to Kent. Wow. Discord at the top. Trouble in paradise. Natalie Elphick, the Tory MP for Dover, said it's a great pity that the Home Secretary wasn't able to meet with Kent MPs and Kent Council leaders to discuss firsthand the serious local impact of this issue. I bet Kent MPs and Kent Council leaders weren't upset. I mean, can you imagine anybody being upset at not meeting Cruella Braverman? But to be fair, the Home Secretary couldn't meet with anybody local because she was running away at the time. And anyway, solving the problem was not on her list of priorities, which seemed to start and end with trying to cement in place her job, which she got because she was even more unpleasant than Priti Patel. And even though being unpleasant seems not to be working, the answer with this regime is that extra unpleasantness will save the day. If at first you don't succeed, keep doing the same thing but worse. That'll work.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Okie dokie.
This one says, "Hi Nick, surely the game is up for Cruella Braverman as Home Secretary. She's a security risk to the UK!" Exclamation mark. As though that wasn't a serious enough thing to say. He's actually put an exclamation mark at the end of it. A security risk, you say? Well, she's like a pollution risk. I mean, the amount of pollution those double rotor blade helicopters pump out, well, like it'd still be alive. So rail strikes get called off, and instead of praise, everyone has a go at them for not giving enough warning. Says Shane in Nottingham. The Tory anti-protest narrative is winning. Well, I don't believe it is. I mean, the amount of support that is being flung at Mick Lynch is really quite extraordinary. People love him. 0345 6060 973. I suppose in a field of phonies, he looks like a real human being. Durham. Hello, Margaret.
Hi, Nick.
Margaret.
I'm just... hello. I am just enthralled and just amazed. But I make a study of these Conservative women.
Oh, yes.
Are they bred somewhere on a remote island to be very special and very different? I look at them all and I cannot believe it. We've had Pretty, we've had this one, we've had that one. We had Liz Truss, our famous ex-PM, talking of growth. And you think, where the hell do these women come? I've just been out to dinner tonight with 4 fabulous friends in the north of England. We are professional women, we are strong women, we know how to put the country right, but we live in the wrong neck of the woods.
Right.
And back, they all take their lead from Maggie. On day one.
Well, she was trying to put that hairstyle back on.
Yeah, and she had the guys, the Tory MPs, trembling at the knee as she plagiarised St Thomas Aquinas when she took on the royal plural. Dear God, who are these women? They are alien to me as a species.
Margaret, you could be running the country, but unfortunately you don't know anything about growth.
About what?
Growth.
Oh,
growth.
About that.
Well, you said it. I was very, very clear.
I'm genuinely unclear.
Very unclear.
It's true. No, it's not unclear. I know about growth. I could talk about growth, and I could change myself to be a very clever, pretty little Tory woman. God help us all get some women from the north now, Nick. Thank you, Nick.
OK, thank you, Margaret. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very, very upset. Well, if she doesn't know about growth, then she's not got a chance of running this country. I can tell you that right now. They're very growth heavy. She's been very clear about that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely clear. And robust. Don't forget robust. Her robustness is clear. She's been very robustly clear about that. It's a little bit painful, isn't it? It's a little bit painful, this feeling inside. Cheam, hello, Sue.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello. Well, hello, Nick. Don't you start. I phoned up to give my impression of if we could have eavesdropped on the Cruella creature.
No. This is not a listener with material, is it?
It is, well, what we would have heard, that's not my only point, but what we would have heard is, if they could see me now, those little friends of mine, da-da-da-da-da. And
well, no, wait a minute.
Da-da-da-da-da.
That wasn't, that's not how it goes.
I didn't want to inflict the whole lot on you, but if you like me to, I can give you a rendition.
Don't start and then not finish.
Go. Oh, really? You wouldn't want me singing the whole lot.
That is true.
I've got a rubbish voice.
That is true. I will not argue with you on that score.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
The other point I wanted to make was the fact that you said they couldn't run a bath.
Yes.
They're doing exactly what they intended. They're reaching all their targets. They're ticking all their boxes.
Yep.
They're selling off NHS. They're destroying everything in their path.
Yes.
I just want to know who the bloody hell they're working for. They're not working for the country.
I think you just have to look at the very, very short list of the people that give a large amount of money to the Conservative Party, and there's your answer right there.
But the thing is, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like going into a beautiful house and taking a sledgehammer to all the artistic paintings and all the crystal and everything else, and just thinking, right, that's sorted now. We've destroyed that. Now what we're going to do?
And when the coppers arrive, you pin the blame on Jeremy Corbyn.
Exactly. Oh, God, don't say his name, because it
Who, Jeremy Corbyn?
It could have been so much better.
You don't want me to say Jeremy Corbyn's name?
No, don't say his name.
Jeremy
It breaks my
Corbyn?
heart. You're going to have me in tears
Jeremy
in a
Corbyn?
minute.
Don't want me to say Jeremy Corbyn?
Jeremy Corbyn. Oh, Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh, no, not more singing, Sue. Please, spare me the pain. Okay, right. Oh, I see. It's my fault. Thanks a lot, Sue. Appreciate it. This one says, I wonder if Rishi will ever make it to your soundboard. Like Theresa May, he's a little too cardboard for cookie clip purposes. Cookie clips. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I put Liz Truss on way too soon.
That is a disgrace.
Because about 10 minutes after I took all the trouble of putting her on this board, she was out the window. So I'm going to give him a couple of weeks just to make sure that I'm not completely wasting my time.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hot H-O-T-A-I-R.
Here's a call in County Durham. Hello, Sean.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
I am
great. For you.
I cannot
understand why.
Didn't wait. You asked me the question, then didn't wait to hear the answer.
Half with the Johnson. Why is he going to COP? He's like a bad smell, isn't he? You can't get rid of him.
No.
Why is he going to COP 27?
Well, you want the short answer or the long answer?
Long answer.
I was hoping you weren't going to say that. All right, I'll give you the short answer and I'll pretend it's the long answer. The long answer is that he is going to where the spotlight is. That's where he's going.
He's going for another holder, isn't he?
Well, it's probably being held in a location adjacent to where his next holiday is going to be, I betcha.
Someone says that he's been invited over there.
Well, you, me, and everyone we know has been invited. You want to go, Sean? Then no problem. I'll see you at the airport.
No, I just don't understand why he hangs around like a bad smell. Nobody wants him, man.
Well, he's the MP for Uxbridge, so if he wasn't going to Egypt, then he might be he might feel impelled to actually go to Uxbridge. So
where the hell's Uxbridge?
Well, that's a good question. Where the hell is Uxbridge? Good question. Thanks a lot, Sean. You don't want to go, trust me. I lived there for 4 years. I know everything there is to know about it. Boris Johnson confirmed he will attend COP27 in Egypt next week, as a question mark remains over whether the UK's Prime Minister is going to join him. This was from 3 days ago, and now we know the truth. Fishy Sunak is not a man to change his mind. He's been very, very clear about that.
Affirmative.
In an exclusive interview for Sky News, Boris Johnson said that he was invited by the Egyptians to the climate conference. And he said he was very happy to go. He's saying that I happen to have a particular interest, he said. Yeah, but he didn't say what he had an interest in. He had a particular interest in being famous, being attended to, feeling important, that kind of thing. Who is he kidding? Boris Johnson saves the world. I mean, really, it's just too awful, isn't it? If we have to rely on Boris Johnson saving the world, then, well, I think we're all completely screwed. What do you think, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Oldbury. Hello, Ranjit.
Hello, good evening, Nick. How are you?
Ranjit, I am great, mate.
It's been a wonderful week in the racist politics. People falling out with each other. I've been listening to the radio where, two family members, one's racist and the other one isn't. I'm just fed up of it, to be honest with you.
Who is it that you're talking about?
Cruella Braverman,
yeah.
Right? She's instigated more racism by using that word invader.
Oh, invasion. Yeah, it's an invasion.
Invasion or invaders or whatever. I told you a few months ago I got called an invader, yeah, because I can't trace my history back to 1066, and I thought, you know what, carry on. Okay. I just sometimes you have to give up and say, look, just carry on. Just fly back and think of England. I think that's where we're at now. Yeah. Because
can I sit up and think of England?
Yeah, you can sit up and you're putting your head above the parapet.
I'll slouch a little bit and think of England.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'll do that as well. I'm just shocked, right? Like when in America, when the presidents retire, they get called Mr. President for life.
Forever, yeah, forever. Yeah, even if you're an orange clown.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
Right, so at least Truss could be called Miss Prime Minister, right? 6 weeks and a half, or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Like remember Adrian Molan, 9.5, whatever it was.
She's going to keep the money, though. I bet you.
Now, is there some kind of restriction, right, that budget could hide under and say, listen, I don't really have to do my surgeries because I'm an ex-Prime Minister and it could be a security...
Where is he? I mean, has anybody in Uxbridge ever actually seen that man? Has he ever held a surgery? Has he sat there and listened to the whinging and the whining and the moaning of the queue of people outside his door and then done his best to solve their tiny, insignificant, boring little problems? Of course not. I would bet money that he's never done that.
Yeah, I mean, but who was doing his surgeries when he was Prime Minister then?
I've got no idea. What were the good people of Uxbridge thinking of when they voted for that man to be their representative? I could repeat that with the people who voted for Matt Hancock. What was gripping you at that point? What unseen force guided your hand to put a cross in his box?
What it was, the fear of Jeremy Corbyn, I think, more than anything else. I mean, how stupid are these people? And everybody was saying, the adults in the House now, yeah, like Rishi Sunak. On Wednesday's Prime Minister's question time, he goes, and you're the one that was backing Jeremy Corbyn. Hang on. He was a leader of the Labour Party and everybody had to toe the line and back Jeremy Corbyn, even if they didn't agree with him, right? So now Rishi Sunak has gone back into the playground, right, where he's like Tom Thumb, right, running around saying, yeah. And each time anytime Sakir asked him any questions, he never answered.
He is a deeply unimpressive person. Fishy Sunak. The more you hear from him, the less you are impressed.
Yeah, he's opening himself up to what he really is. He's just a nerd with numbers. He knows nothing about politics.
A nerd with numbers.
86%, 5 million, and of course over 50%. And what I'm saying is,
you're saying too much. Talking about a nerd with numbers. All right, thanks a lot, Ranjit. Hey, by the way, were you frying tonight?
Yeah, we just finished, mate.
How's business?
It's because it was the first week in the month, it was a little bit better, but, the people are coming and telling me all the time, same thing. Ranjit, you know what, we love you. But, it's not you. It's us. We can't afford it. And I said,
Right.
don't worry about it. We'll get through it. But the thing is, somebody come up and said the paycheck's getting smaller and the month's getting longer. And that's what's happening to all the people.
Yeah.
If I was the leader of this country, I would be ashamed. Right, to see what they're putting good, hard-working people through. Just to satisfy the ego. I mean, I'm struggling, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been in the shop since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's nearly 11 o'clock. I'm here for another hour, and then I'll be back here again tomorrow, 8:30 till about 11:30.
Why do you start so early?
We have to prepare everything, Nick, get everything ready. We open at 11:45. And I'm not one of these that comes in and rushes stuff. I like to do it nice and steady, going to put all the kebabs on, do the potatoes.
Well, let me ask you this. What's in a Savoy?
Pork, sausage, meat and chicken. And chicken, yeah.
Right.
It's just like a sausage.
It's like a sausage, but not quite.
But not quite. It's like one of them hot dogs that you buy on the stand, more or less.
Yeah.
But
it's like a throw of the dice. You've really got absolutely no idea what's going to be in there. It's a gamble.
No, it's pork meat. It's like what's in a sausage, any it's pork meat or chicken meat in there, yeah. But the thing is, Nick, all we're probably selling now is a lot of chips rather than the luxurious things like
I
chips.
like chips. You know what? The chips should actually be served open, not closed, because when you close them, all the steam from the chips just it stays in the pack and makes them all soggy. I'm right about that, aren't I?
The thing is, right, okay, I live literally like 2 minutes walk from my house. If I have chips on a plate in the shop, they taste different. If I wrap them in paper and go home, they taste a lot better.
Yeah.
It's
a bit weird that because tea, for instance, in a similar way, tea in a paper cup tastes horrible, but coffee in a paper cup, I've actually come to prefer it to coffee in a china cup. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah. It's all weird. Well, we're living in a weird world, aren't we, at the moment? So, everything goes. If I said to you, Nick, that's a cup of tea in a paper cup, you're going to say, no, I don't know. Yeah. You can say whatever you want.
Well, I'd say no. I'd say no, thank you, because, that's just good manners.
Be polite!
Good manners, always.
Yeah,
all right.
And I reckon he's coming back, the yellow man, isn't he?
Who?
The orange man, he's supposed to be coming back as well.
Well,
so
as long as he gets out of prison in time, I suppose so, yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Ranjit. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, he's appealing to his base, the Dingalings. The people that put him in the position that he has fought so hard to retake.
I love the poorly educated.
His base.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
Yes, there's nothing left to be laughing about. 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Solihull. Hello, Callum.
Hi, Nick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hiya. First time caller, so please be gentle with me.
Okay, then.
The reason that I was phoning is I saw something this week that I think was actually extremely worrying.
Uh-oh.
We used to see Fox News in the UK as something that is so far right and so completely nuts.
Fox News. Fox News. It's the Murdoch TV channel in America,
Yeah, like when they said that Birmingham was a 90% population Muslim, etc., etc. So I live in Birmingham, Solihull. I know that Murdoch also set up another a TV station that used to be a radio station. This week, I saw that there were reports about the terrible attack that happened at the processing centre. When I was looking through the comments, one of the things that I could not believe was...
comments?
Warning!
Are you insane? You read the comments on a news story? Uh-oh.
Honestly, I really, really could not believe what I was actually seeing.
Yeah.
All I kept seeing was the type of comments you'd see on a Fox News
Fox News.
segment. Things that you would not expect from British people.
Oh, no, I would expect it all right, because I do exactly that. I read, just for my own amusement, every now and again I'll read a report about, a cute puppy. A little puppy got born, and there'll be a little story, and he'll have a bow on, and it'll look so cute. And then you read the comments underneath it, and it's, that puppy's not cute, it should kill itself,
Well, that was the sort of thing that I was actually reading.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing that you expect to hear from the nutty Americans, but you don't expect it from the typical British people.
Oh, we got nutty people in this country. You should believe that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the sort of comments that I was seeing was just, I don't even know whether I'm allowed to say it on air.
No, don't say it.
Okay,
Whatever it is that you're about to say, don't say it.
They were praising the actions that had happened.
Yeah, of course they were.
And it was just, I was scrolling and scrolling.
Don't do it, Callum. Trust me when I tell you, your life will be improved, or rather, it will not be. What's the opposite of being improved? It will not be degraded. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Your life will not be improved by reading that stuff. I'll just make it simple so I can finish that sentence. There it is.
I was expecting somebody to come out with a comment that made any sense, but I stopped reading when I got to the point where
exactly
there was a comment that said...
Always remember to breathe. That's right. Okay, well, trust me, Callum, stop reading the comment section on news stories. Believe me, it will make you... it won't make you... Oh, there I am with the double negatives again. It won't make you feel any better. Or, to sum up... yeah, every now and again I do that. I do that. I read the comment section in, the Mail Online or something like that, and it's always a bad move. Don't do it. It's like I don't read the comments to things that I post on Twitter. Oh, I went to Norwich this week. Norwich is great. I had no idea. I just imagined that Norwich would be a bit like Slough or Uxbridge, for instance. Uxbridge, Boris, have you heard of it?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I'll take that as a no. But it's not. It's just extraordinarily beautiful. I mean, everywhere you look, it's like a picture postcard. I bet it looks terrific at Christmas. They did have some Christmas decorations out, but it's completely unspoiled, really. I've hardly been in a large place, like a city, that is so unspoiled. Trying to think of another word than unspoiled, but I'll just use unspoiled again. That's 4 times there in the same paragraph. And no, I liked it a lot. Oh, but huge, giant, wobbly butt.
Oh no!
The Dart crossing. Okay, to get from where I am to go towards Norwich, you've got to go under the Thames. The Dartford Tunnel. The Dartford Tunnel. And there's signs that say, pay the Dart charge online. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'll pay the Dart charge online. The logo that it uses is the exact same logo that they use for the congestion charge in central London. It's a C in a red circle, or a red C in a white circle, or one of the two. It's the exact same thing. Now, if you go on the government's own website, it actually says that. It says the C logo is the exact same as the one that they use for the congestion charge in London, but the two have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
What?
How can two things that have the exact same logo have nothing to do with each other? So, thinking like an idiot that the two would be connected in some way, them having the same logo, I thought, well, I'm signed up for the congestion charge, so they'll just take it automatically. Number plate recognition technology. It's the future.
Affirmative.
Robots. And then a couple of days later, after I'd gone through the tunnel, I thought, you know what, I'll just check. And I looked it up, and not only are they not connected in any way, there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be, but they've decided not to be. Not only that, but you have to pay the charge before midnight the next day, or they'll fine you. What? I haven't received the letter yet. I'm guessing I'll receive it after the 2 weeks are up, during which time you can get away with, in inverted commas, paying half the fine. So I'll be stuck with whatever the fine is. What is it? It's like 150 quid or something of that order. It's £2.50 to use the tunnel. But the fine, as far as I'm aware, is 150 quid. Even if it's half that, it's too blooming much. And there was absolutely no indication whatsoever when you're going from south to north that you had to pay the charge before midnight the next day. They didn't say that. They just said pay the charge online. So this seems like a giant money-making scam to me. They kid you, they draw you in by making you believe that it's a system that you're already signed up to, because I bet most people who drive in London are signed up to that congestion charge thing, so it's automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. You pay £10 a year, and it's automatic. I don't know why you have to pay £10 a year, by the way, to sign up for something that takes money from you. It's like going into a shop and saying, how much is that shirt? And they say it's 50 quid. Oh, and it's £10 extra for us to sell it to you. What kind of a system is that? But then to not tell you that you have to pay the fee before midnight the next day, and then insist on it on penalty of fine, that seems unreasonable. It seems like the system is being run by The Sopranos.
Absolutely.
But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
It just seems like a money-making scam to me. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
You know, some whack job can say this stuff and get away with it.
Nobody knows who the hell he is.
0345 6060 973. People of America considering voting Republican, are you out of your minds?
Don't be rude.
0345 6060 973. I mean, you know, unless you're a millionaire, in which case I get it. Everybody else, not so much. 0345 6060 973. By the way, this show gets stuck up the internet as a podcast. I'll tell you about it in a while. It's only available on Global Player now. Global Player. If you haven't got a Global Player already. In fact, I'll tell you about it now. Why not? I've started, so I'll finish. Global Player is available for Apple, Android and PC. It is totally free, as in does not cost any money. It's got all of the radio stations that we do, all of the podcasts as well, enough entertainment to see you out for the rest of your life. If you want to hear this show as a podcast, then it is available. You see, we take the news and the ads out, which means it takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and in a few short years, you'll have saved up enough to buy a stamp to send to British Gas to tell them that you can't afford to pay their bill. Ask for it by name. If you've got one of them stupid smart speakers, then it is here is the magic phrase. Open Global Player and play Nick Abbott The Whole Show podcast. Open Global Player and play Nick Abbott The Whole Show podcast. I mean, you have to say the name of your stupid smart speaker bit first. You know, that one, or that one. Yeah, but that's it. So it's the Friday and Saturday night shows. Take the news and the ads out. It takes less time to listen to. Buy a stamp, send it to British Gas. Tell them you can't afford to pay their bill. And yeah, that's it. I am slightly distracted because I can hear what's happening next door. I don't know why. But don't worry about me. I am a trained professional and I'll work through it. Chatham. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Nick. I just wondered if you've been keeping close eye on what's happening in the American midterms.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
No, I know, but like the run-up to it, I see several documentaries by well-known outlets, which I've been told not to mention.
Oh, yes.
And I'm quite scared, even though I live in a different country, because they genuinely believe that the election was still stolen, and they're going to extreme lengths to try and stop postal voting. The one I watched in particular was, I think it was in Arizona, and they had some of their Republican friends watching the postal vote box with several guns.
Yeah.
To try and intimidate people not to go.
That's
and
right.
People were going as far as to put a blank piece of paper over their number plates so they wouldn't be recognised and harassed.
Wow. It's quite a delicate thing, democracy, and if you don't pay attention, it will disappear like that. And that seems to be what's happening in the United States of America.
Yeah, well, they were the Democratic candidate for that part of that state. He was genuinely worried about what was going on, and I'm not surprised. But one of the interviews, it was the Republican person who wants to obviously win whatever he is going to win. He had postal voted by 28 times, but he now wants to get rid of it.
Yeah, of course. Well, the reason that they want to get rid of postal votes and the reason that they're insisting on voter ID is because it will impinge on those who are most likely to vote Democrat. And there's the exact same thing is happening in this country. Our next election is going to, they'll be insisting on voter ID, a photographic evidence of who you are, in order to stamp out the corruption in the electoral process. But here, as in America, there is no corruption in the electoral process. They're pretending to fix a problem that does not exist.
I know, and there's this, apparently there's it's just I watched it and well, I'm speechless now thinking about it. So it's just kind of. It just really, it's quite disturbing.
Yeah,
and
it knocks the wind out of you, precisely right. And it's worse than you just said, because I think there's at least 100 Republican candidates who say they will not accept the result of the vote unless they win. So we got a lot of Donald Trumps in the waiting in the wings.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's most disturbing.
Yep.
And the thing is, as well, with because I heard you talking about the Dartford charge. I drive past that every day, and I believe it's run by a French company, so it's probably some kind of Brexit revenge.
Yeah, more Brexit winning. I am so sick of all this winning. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Paul. The best way not to get upset by the news is don't read the news. Particularly the news that comes from America, because, I mean, we're a bit strange over here, but those people are crazy.
Whoop-dee-dee scoop poop.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Epsom. Hello, Simi.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, Simi.
How are you?
Great, mate.
Good. You were talking about Uxbridge, and so I thought I'd give you a call because I grew up in the lovely area of Hayes in Middlesex.
Hayes?
Which is, yes.
Yeah.
And Hayes is just a short bus ride from Uxbridge. So I used to frequent Uxbridge from Hayes quite often.
Wow,
so
Hayes must have been awful for you to have to go to Uxbridge to escape it. It sounds quite nice.
Yeah.
Hayes. It sounds country like
No.
like a verdant? No.
God, no.
God, no.
The complete opposite.
Opposite of that.
Yes. That's why I said I used to live in Hayes. I don't live there anymore.
Wise choice. I've heard it's awful.
There's probably a lot of listeners from Hayes, so I don't want to upset anybody.
Well, we won't be speaking to we won't be speaking to them. Don't worry about that.
No, you already said my name on the radio.
Yeah.
If I was anonymous, I'd be quite happy to tell you my feelings, but
I'll call you Anonymous.
Okay, thank you. And I just thought if there was any questions that you'd like to ask me about the beautiful region of Uxbridge, I could answer them for you.
Simi, you don't know anything about Uxbridge that I don't know. I lived there for 4 years.
Oh, you poor man.
Yeah, I know. And look what it's done to me.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. But,
well, there's nothing to say, Simi, other than...
Was Boris ruling you at the time?
To pass on your commiserations. All right. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Bromley, Virginia.
Hello, Nick. Just a quick little thing about your Dartford tunnel crossing.
Yes.
Don't wait to get the fine through the post. I mean, just go online on dartcharge.gov.uk, put your registration in, and it'll tell you what you need to pay and when you did the crossing.
It doesn't.
And then you pay it.
It doesn't say that. What it says is, do not use this system if you have, unless your crossing was either yesterday or today. If you have a penalty notice, then put the number of the notice in this box, and then put your registration number in, and then you can pay. But if you haven't had the penalty notice yet, you cannot pass go.
But you haven't had the penalty notice, which is good. I think give them a call.
Give them a call? Are you out of your mind? Get on the telephone with them?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I've spoken to them before about something, and I got let off because I was late paying, but they took the payment. They basically want your money. So if you phone them up and say, I'm happy to pay the $250, I don't know if you came back the same way, so it'll be £5 in total.
Yeah, no, I paid because you come back on the bridge. From north to south, you come back on the bridge. It's a pretty good bridge.
Bridge tunnel, it's the same. It's $250.
So I paid that. It was £2.50, and I'm okay with paying the £2.50. It's just this sneaky way of putting an unreasonable limit on the period in which you're allowed to pay.
Honestly, Google the telephone contact numbers for the customer care and explain to them, and then you'll offset getting a fine. I don't want you to get a fine. Everyone hates fines.
Yeah.
And there's no need because you want to pay. And it was only this week, you said, yeah? You've just been up this week.
Yeah.
This was like 10 days ago, is it?
No, that's right. Well, even if it was 10 days ago, it shouldn't make the slightest bit of difference. I'm willing to pay. What is this business about having to pay before midnight and the following day?
Oh, as I say, do look up their contact number and they'll help you out.
Right.
I don't work for them or anything. I'm a nurse, but I just wanted to let you know that you can get round that, so you don't have to pop up.
I'll call them up and I'll tell them Virginia, the nurse, said so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Virginia.
All right. Good luck with it.
Ta-da.
Bye.
0345 6060 973. This says, Dear Nick, haven't you got any good news? Everything the Tories do makes me feel so depressed, says Andrew in Herne Hill. Sadly not. This is all I got. Lucy says, if Brexit opponents were considered to be part of the anti-growth coalition, does Braverman think those opposing sending refugees to Rwanda are part of the anti-progress coalition? That's very complicated. If Brexit opponents does Braverman think those opposing... I don't know. I don't know, Lucy. You've scrambled my brain just trying to think about it. And this says, shush about the Norwich, says Marion, as in don't let on, because otherwise everyone will want to go there. I'm telling you, Norwich is terrific. I could not believe it. I was actually very, very surprised at how unspoiled and beautiful... Oh, there's me going on about it again. Sorry about that. Greenwich, Cheryl.
Hello.
Cheryl.
Hi.
Yes, Cheryl.
Yes, just about your dart charge.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'd be very worried. I was 2 days late in paying my dart charge.
Yeah.
And I ended up with a bailiff at the door.
What?
And a fine of over £424.
Oh, come on. How did that happen?
They sent the original fine to the wrong address.
Right.
The late payment fine obviously went to the wrong address, so I got a letter to say you owe £191.
Oh, my God.
This is 6 months after the event. And then I tried to ring them up and nobody wanted to listen. They just wanted my money. Tried to appeal. I finally got to appeal. But within that period, I had a knock at the door 12 days after the original letter with a bailiff saying to me, you now owe £424.
Oh, my God. For a £2.50 charge. That's so unreasonable.
Exactly. So I did manage to finally get through to somebody and appealed, and they have now waived it. They have, and with a little note saying, please don't do this again. That was very naughty of you, and a slap with and
Very naughty.
Very naughty. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
But it's for £2 for paying a £2.50 charge. 48 hours late, I've got bailiffs at the door threatening to take my car away, and wanting £424 from me.
It's completely unreasonable. They're running it as though it is a scam. To the outside, the uneducated eye like me, it looks like a scam. If somebody like me doesn't know the rule, then how would you know? How would you think? Oh, that's the crossing that I must pay before tomorrow at midnight. I mean, it's completely unreasonable. There's no way that you would know that, or even imagine that such a scheme had been set up that way.
And how can it escalate from an omission of I don't normally take that route. That's not a route I normally take.
Right.
So, like you say, you forget.
It's catching out the unwary, those who don't know. Those who do it every day, then they know. They can sign up for a scheme and it's done automatically, no problem.
Yeah. But they're threatening me. They're sending me bailiffs.
I got 2 letters from my energy provider today saying, right, that's it. We're coming over to nick your television because you haven't paid us this bill. So I'd recently moved into this place and they kept sending me a bill. They take a direct debit for electricity and gas, and they've done both of those things, so no problem at all. You go online and you look at your account and say, your account is up to date. You're doing very well. Congratulations. Award yourself a biscuit. But I keep getting these texts saying you haven't paid your bill. And so I call them up and, oh, my God, it's that you get on the phone and is there a single organisation that these days does not say, we're very short-staffed at the moment. We're having a lot of calls and you may wait longer than we would like. Your wait time is between 55 minutes and 1 hour.
What?
And so I sat on the phone for literally an hour waiting for this person to come on the line and explained to them what had happened. And they say, oh, we're very sorry about that, sir, in an accent that indicates to me that that person is not in this country. And the quality of the phone line is, I would estimate, 5,000 miles away. Like the company isn't making enough cash to, actually employ enough people here to solve the problems that are being caused by their own ineptitude. And so they said, no problem at all. We'll take care of that. Very sorry to have, caused your inconvenience. Have a nice day. And the very next day, I get 2 more texts that said, you still have not paid this amount. I'm like, oh, my God. So I had to call them again. And they said, very, very sorry about this. We'll absolutely solve this problem for you now. You need not worry your pretty little head about it one single moment more. And today I got 2 letters saying the bailiffs are coming around. This company is making hundreds of millions of pounds in profit, and they're
you
still...
ring the bailiffs, and the first thing they said to me is, "Oh, are you going to make a payment?"
Yeah.
And when I said no, they said, "Oh, you're refusing to make a payment."
Right.
And no, I'm not refusing to make a payment. I can't make a payment.
It's painful when you get into the point where you have to actually call someone on the phone.
Oh no!
It's like you just might as well pay. I mean, what they're asking for me is 75 quid that I don't owe them, and at this point I'm thinking, well, is it worth 75 quid just to make them go away? But then it becomes it's the point, it's the principle of the thing. But if you fight it, then you will get somebody, I'm sure, showing up at my door, breaking into my car and hauling it away. Because I don't owe them money that they said I don't owe them, but they're trying to get it out of me anyway. Because, the computer said so.
Correct. This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yes, the old bag is right. This tweet says, hey, Nick, so Cruella made her entrance aboard a huge twin-rotor helicopter, which is normally used to deliver huge loads. Have they moved past trollingers to providing their own visual punchlines? RAP satire, says Pat. I'm sorry, I've got a Rennie in my mouth because I'm feeling a little bit dyspeptic.
Stop whining.
Let's have Banford. Hello, Becky.
Oh, hi there, Nick.
Becky.
How are you?
Great, mate.
Hi. Oh, great. I just actually was calling because I was just listening on my way home from work about the Dartford charge.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just to say that I actually made the same mistake. I managed to pay the first crossing, but the second one, but the first one I missed. So I called them. And basically, because my number plate had never been through before, and they actually cancelled the fine for me, and I just paid the £2.50.
Blimey, when did you do that?
It was probably about 6 months ago.
Huh.
But so I would definitely say, I think your other listener said the same thing, but definitely to call them, because, it happened, I paid the return journey, but the outbound I didn't. And, they let me off and just paid the £2.50.
Right, so can I have you on the other end of the line to back me up on this?
Definitely, yeah, I'm on your side.
Okay, well, we'll make a party call.
Yep.
First thing tomorrow morning.
Perfect, yeah, and I'll get some little Team Nick T-shirts printed as well.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Becky. There you are. See, support.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we've got to fight against the fines.
Exactly, that's right. We've got to fight against the man. Thanks, Becky. Well, I'll give it a go. I'm not expecting much, but I'll give it a go. How long do you have to wait online to speak to those people, I wonder? How many hours exactly?
And one, two.
I believe that.
6 million.
6 million hours. Yes, we have rather more calls than we're used to, and unfortunately your wait may be longer than we would wish. The wait time today is 6 million hours. We'll play some nice music down the phone that you'll be sick of within about 2 seconds. Grays in Essex, Bowler.
Hi, Nicky.
Yeah, how are you doing?
So, like Vicky just said, you could call them, like that charge now. You could call them and instead of paying the whole full charge.
I'll call them up on the phone and they will cancel the charge. You know what? I know that people keep saying that, but I just don't believe you. I'll try it, but why would they do that, though? I mean, It seems like a money grabbing scam to me.
Potentially, yes,
but you're saying that they're actually nice people.
They are nice people, yes. Well, at least I've done it twice before. I'm now registered as a resident discount. So I get to pay £20 for a year unlimited travel. But before I did pass on both of the stuff before, and then I paid once.
Okay, well, I'm going to put a smile on my voice, and I'll be very, very calm and collected. I'll ask them if they're having a nice day, and
You need to be you. You need to be the usual Nick, and I'm sure they'll charge off and
unless they've been listening to this show, me going on and on about how dreadfully awful they are, in which case I'm screwed. But thanks for the good advice, Bowler. I'll give it a shot. Why not? Of course, the other thing is I've moved house recently, and they are probably going to send it to my old address, at which it will not get passed on to me. Because, does that forwarding address thing ever work? Or rather, does it always work?
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
I can't. 0345 6060 973. Here's a question. This from Helen. She says, how will Sunak get a hotel room at COP? Now that he's changed his mind at late notice. Surely his room would have been let go, says Helen. Well, that's a very good point. You'd think that every single hotel room for, like 10 miles around that location would have been booked up months ago. So where's Fishy going to stay? Maybe you could bunk up with Bodge. What do you say, Bodge? It's a no. You're on your own, Fishy. Take your own tent. Kensington. Hello, Gary.
I did.
Wow, very, very bad line. You sound like a Dalek.
That is a disgrace.
Can you hear me now? You hear me?
Yeah, that's better, yeah.
Hello, Nick. Yeah, Nick, you of all people, I'm certain, is savvy enough to know that this whole parking stuff is an absolute racket and has been since it was kind of like privatised after Margaret Thatcher. I think it was 94. She decriminalised. It used to be a criminal offence to park.
Can I just correct you on your pronunciation? It's not Margaret Thatcher. It's Margaret Thatcher.
Thatcher, yeah, Margaret Thatcher. She decriminalised parking in 94.
Gary, you're coming and going. Please speak directly into the phone.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, she decriminalised this parking stuff in 94, and I think I read some stuff about what she made quite clear, and that was it should never be used. One of the major points she raised is that it shouldn't be used as a revenue raiser. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it has been used.
Was she winking while she said that?
Well, I wouldn't have thought Maggie Thatcher was that type of person. I mean, I know that people have bad opinions of her, but she wasn't as corrupt and rotten as the present status quo.
We're talking about
you
talking
are
about orders of magnitude here. Yeah, it looks like a racket. It looks like a racket. It smells like a racket. It reads like a racket. It seems like a racket to me. Maybe it's a racket.
Can I put some of it into perspective?
Too much.
The reality is,
blooming perspective.
It makes billions of pounds a year.
How many?
And it's a racket that has now spread over pretty much most of the UK. It used to be just London and maybe one or two other, outside places, but now it's kind of pretty much crept in everywhere, even down in places like Cornwall, Devon. I mean, where
I'm not talking about parking. I'm talking about the DART charge.
Oh yeah, no, but that's all part of the. You said it's separate, but it isn't. It's all part of the same racket. They all dine and wine each other at Ascot and Exton every year. I mean, it's I know a bailiff who's
dining and wining,
booze,
right. Well, it sounds like you've uncovered some shady shenanigans going on there, Gary. I want you to keep digging. A full report on my desk first thing. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. This tweet, excuse me. This tweet says, "Hi Nick, how can Boris be serious about climate change when he's had over 6 holidays by plane already this year? Pair of jokers, over 6 children, and he wants to save the planet. Disgrace," says Pam.
Disgusting,
she said. Stephen said, this mild week with so little wind and sun, we've had to import energy from the European Union, and that's only with a few electric cars and heat pumps, says Dave in Staines. And Fiona in Devon says, I lie back and think of leaving England. Unpatriotic. Let's see who's been waiting the longest. Be totally clear about this. Fair. I'll be very, very clear.
I'm genuinely unclear.
I'm genuinely fair about this. Camden. Hello, Claire. Claire?
Hi, Nick.
Claire.
Hi, Nick.
Yes.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Claire.
Hi. I'd like to ask, what could possibly have bothered told them in America for all this money? 150,000 for half an hour.
Yeah. And I bet it's the same half an hour that he says every time he gives a speech anywhere. His thing is to show up slightly late with his hair, looking like he does. That sort of that carefully contrived image that he's got. That it looks like he's slept in a skip, and he's got his shirt untucked and his hair all over the place, and his tie is askew, and his buttons on his shirt are popped open, and he'll go, where am I? And he'll look around at the thing behind him, which has got the name of the organisation that he's making a speech at, and then he'll pretend to make it up on the spot. He'll pretend that he's lost his notes, and he's just making all this up. But it's the same blooming speech he gives everywhere he goes. What a racket, eh?
Yeah, because he can't possibly sell them Brexit there. They're not interested in Brexit there. So what else can he talk about?
It can't possibly be a payment for the actual speech. There must be some sort of other thing that's like ladled on top, like cream on a sundae.
Do you think he could have just sat down like a nice boy and cut out some cuttings out from a big Latin dictionary, and thrown them up in the air, and then
just read them
out.
like pickup sticks. Yeah, just whatever he picked up first. That's what he read first. Yeah. Like the cut-up method that was used to some effect by David Bowie.
Rock and roll!
That's true. I mean, the reason that his lyrics don't really seem to make much sense is because quite a lot of them were, and I speak as though I know what I'm talking about, but as far as I'm aware, a lot of his lyrics were written just like that. He'd write a piece, I think it's a William Burroughs cut-up technique. He'd write a sentence, then cut that bit out, and then throw them up in the air, and then just pick up the next one, and that was the next line in his lyric. Because educational, this show, no?
No.
Because this is what they say Nostradamus did. When he wrote all his predictions, he threw the papers, the pages up in the air.
Up in the air.
Yeah, and so that's why we are still wondering, and we still don't know what
how to interpret what he said. Well, people interpret what Nostradamus said by trying to shoehorn in what just happened to something that he wrote, as though it is a prediction, but it's not a prediction from the text forward. It's a prediction from the fact backwards to the text to try and make it make sense, which it doesn't, of course, because no one can tell the future.
Yeah. And I maybe about the figure for the remuneration. Maybe somebody sat down and very diligently counted all the letters in what he said.
Yeah.
and then brought this figure to maths whiz like you to multiply it by 7.
7.
And when this figure was not yet round enough, so this was a round figure of size about 14, 16, and they wanted a rounded figure for about size 22, 20.
It was a speech worth 150 quid, but they decided to add 3 zeros on the end. Yeah, because why not? What's 3 zeros between friends, eh?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Excellent work there, Claire. I think you've spotted something serious and important. I want you to write it down and put it away in a drawer somewhere. All right. Thanks a lot, Claire. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Carl in Dover says, it's so awful how we are treating migrants. No legal route to get here. Hate from the media and the morons lap up the hate, blaming the people risking their lives to get here and not the 12 years of austerity. I'm stating the obvious here, but come on, says Carl in Dover. He's at the end of his tether. Come on, people. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while guffawing like seals.
Yeah.
If you want us to have a bash at your issue, then you must send it to the following address. nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com. And make it not a really, really serious problem, because that's not what we're qualified to do, but just, like a light-hearted problem. And brief is better, because people do send, pamphlet-length things. Then it's just, the podcast is only an hour. If you send me a book for me to read, then that's a bit much. But if you can just put a sort of a small little, a couple of lines, something like that, then we will weave our magic out of it. What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? Available on an internet near you.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbot.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
This says, I live near the House of Commons, and those helicopters, the Chinooks, are used every day, pretty much. Some often stay all day and night in the sky. It's a mafia, not a government. Well, I don't know what the mafia's... So maybe you don't mean the Chinooks, because they're not the ones that are hover, because they just make too much noise. I mean, they'd shake people's knickknacks off their mantle. But helicopters do, yeah, like the police helicopters. They just stay up there forever. You wait till they're drones. Robots.
Affirmative.
Then there'll just be clouds of them. Tracking your every movement. Believe me. Karen says, I'm making her laugh too much. She's sewing and her stitches are all wonky. Oh, I see. It's my fault. Grays, Moshed.
Yes. Hello, Nick.
How you doing?
Not bad. Busy on the road. I am a taxi driver and first-time caller in your show.
Ah, yes. How's business?
Not that busy, honestly.
Right.
Even on weekends, it's not that busy, honestly. So I'm actually calling to back up the Dutch charge as my previous two caller. I'm local resident. I live in Grace, and I'm living there near about 4 years.
Okay.
So it's happened not only with me, with so many relatives. They basically had the same issue. They got the penalty charge and notice, and other than that, whenever they call to the Dutch charge office, immediately they say that if you are first time, then we are removing your penalty charge. You can just pay off £2.50 what the normal charge is.
No way.
So, yep. I know it's it's difficult to make it believe that they're good, but they're good. And this is the reason I'm calling tonight,
Right. Well, you're not the first person to have said that, so maybe I take back everything that I have said. They are lovely people, and I would like to take every single one of them to lunch. What do you say?
And one more thing I would like to request you.
Yes.
Like for your test purpose, maybe you can call them, and I'm pretty much sure within 10 minutes someone will be in other side to respond to you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Do they go to work on Saturday and Sunday?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll join the hour-long wait of people who are on the phone to them on Saturday and Sunday. We want to shout down the phone that they've received a penalty notice and somebody is taking their television.
Trust me, they're good. They're good. This is why I'm backing up, because as a taxi driver, I do pay a lot of penalty charges in so many different places and try to face myself in so many different places. But they're good.
All right.
I have to admire that.
Well, it's encouraging to hear that, Moshed, and I appreciate the call. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. This tweet says, I know what you mean about the food and drink tasting different in certain packaging. Oh, this is back to coffee. I maintain that coffee is better in a paper cup. Now, I know it's not saving the planet, but when I'm in a cafe and they ask, are you staying in or do you want it to go? Even if I'm staying in, I still want it in the paper cup. Now, I know that is wrong and I should be ashamed, but I just think it tastes better in a paper cup. Tea, on the other hand, is awful in a paper cup. And that's an actual fact. The stuff you learn on this show, eh? Teo, Finsbury Park.
Hi, Nick.
Teo.
I must firstly say that I love your show. You just always make me laugh.
Thanks,
But
Teo.
I literally felt like I need to pick up the call because I completely agree with the last caller.
Right.
The dart charge is not as bad as you describe it to be. Honestly, I've had several encounters with them, and it's been pleasant. And literally, I'm talking about a week late, and I literally pick up the phone, call them, and I end up paying £2.50. The dart, the congestion that you said, the C sign, I think is actually quite a good way of streamlining anywhere you go in London that you have to pay any sort of congestion charge.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that if they were to, obviously, I found out tonight from your show that is run by a French company, but if they were to come up with their own little sign, people will have something to say. So for them to take that initiative and using the same congestion charge symbol, I think is just streamlining, the process and the system that is in place. And I think that's quite good.
Well, if it was part of the same system, then it would be good. And there's no reason that I can think of why it shouldn't be. I mean, if the logo is the same as the congestion charge and the charge to go through the Dartford tunnel, then why aren't the two systems connected? I mean, I am signed up. I have to pay £10 a year, which seems unreasonable in itself, to sign up for automatic payment for congestion charge. Now, if the logo is the same, and they admit on the government's own website, they say the logo is exactly the same between the congestion charge and the Dartford tunnel charge, but the two are not connected. How can they have the same logo and not be connected?
Well, maybe it's something that they need to look into, but I just feel like in comparison to London, I've had quite encounters in London on all this PCN, and there's no way I've been able to get away with it. And I end up with hefty fines. Yeah. Unlike Dartford charge, you call them up, you explain the situation, and you end up paying £2.50. And that's never happened to me in London, and I'm from London. Well, because I've got family member in Kent, and I think they're quite lenient. And if you live in the area, you pay £10 a whole year to travel through and through from Kent to Essex. So, the situation is not as bad as you describe it to be.
Well, I
totally get where you're coming from.
I would not have found any of this out unless I had said it out loud on the radio, because you look at their website and there is no call us up and we'll be nice to you. There is no you get a second chance. There's none of that. It's like you will wait for a fine in the post.
Yeah.
And if you pay it in a certain time, then it's, they they kid you that it's half price, but it's not half price if you pay it between a certain up to a certain time. It's double if you pay it afterwards. Think of it that way round.
Yeah, but if they were to put all of that on the website, people would take liberty. But with my experience with them several times, Nick, they have been quite lenient. Where I
don't think it is liberty. It's not a liberty if you're willing to pay. I am perfectly willing to pay £2.50 to go through that tunnel. Because otherwise, how would I get across the river? It's worth £2.50, right? I mean, otherwise I'd be swimming.
Yeah, but think about it before, about 10 years ago, before, when you get to the bridge, you will have to physically pay £2.50 or else you can't go through. Yeah. But they've got a technology in place where, if you don't have the cash with you, you've got the choice within 24 hours to pay the £2.50.
I know that now, but I didn't know that then because they didn't tell me that. It just said pay online. Didn't say nothing about pay online before a certain point. Otherwise, you'll get fined unless you're aware that we're actually really nice people and we'll do you a favour. But thanks for that, Teo. 0345 6060 973. This says, Nick, who do the people of Uxbridge think they are? Expecting immediate surgery. Most people wait years. God, did you see that report? It was the Financial Times reported on the state of the NHS. It's actually, maybe I'll get into this a little bit later. Our health service is the worst in Europe. Now, just think about that for a minute. The worst in Europe, our health service. Now, you think Europe, you think France and Germany and Spain and Italy, and then you start running out. And then you remember, Belgium's in Europe, and where else? Estonia is in Europe. Now, I don't know anything about Estonia, but it doesn't prevent me from having a strong opinion. Our health service isn't as good as that in Estonia. That's just embarrassing.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Oh, hello. Hang about, Nick. Listen. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
This says, I know what you mean about food and drink tasting different in certain packaging. I can't stand cola or beer in plastic glasses like you get at gigs. Coffees and lattes, though, are more preferable in paper cardboard cups, says Ricky. Hey, Ricky, you're so fine, Ricky. Yeah, weird that, isn't it? I'll restate my case. Tea in a paper cup tastes disgusting. But coffee is, I just think I prefer it. Strange. Peculiar. Greenwich, hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Lisa.
Hi.
You sound shocked. You called me, remember?
I am shocked. I won't deny it. Yeah, no, I remember. I'm all on board with it. Yes.
Right.
It's about the dart charge.
Go on.
Well, actually, I only want to say during the chorus, I understand your scepticism, but I think it's the one kind of thing left where they're going to be okay. So parking charges, you don't stand a chance. But the dart charge, I've made a few errors. Yeah. And because you thought that the symbol looked like their symbol, I can almost guarantee you that you will get off with it.
Well, I'm going to spend what will probably be all of tomorrow on the phone, waiting in a queue to talk to the nice people at the dart charge. And I will report back tomorrow night what happened.
Please do, because that's the thing. You don't even have to wait that long. It's really surprising and refreshing. And I think it's because they said that we wouldn't have to pay the dart charge after about 5 years. And then we had to carry on paying. Yeah, that wasn't meant to carry on. And then, so I think they have to build in a certain amount of clemency because they lied to us about it.
Maybe it's because they're French.
It's almost definitely that. Don't tell the others.
Yeah. All right. Merci beaucoup, Lisa. Cheers, my dear, or whatever that is in French. 0345 6060 973. This says, please pass on my kindest regards to Ranjit, the chip shop owner. May he sell many cod and chips, or haddock. I hear the topic of religion and race come up on many occasions. Ranjit is an Englishman. You and your family are well, my friend. How do you know? You and your family are well, my friend. Best regards, says Simon. You mean you hope they are? Or are you giving them some sort of result of a medical test? As this one says, as Rishi makes his latest U-turn on COP27, Cruella shows her support by turning up on her assignment with the most environmentally unfriendly method, a gas-guzzling Chinook and a fleet of Range Rovers. The world is our oyster in deep-fried batter, says Brian in London. I understood the first part, but not the last part about the batter. Not the batter bit. I mean, talk about a performance. What kind of numpty put her on that thing? If she insisted on it herself, then I guess she's the numpty. It's just trying to make some impression as a big tough guy. Why do Home Secretaries always have to act like that? They're all the blooming same. They're all they all seem to be chipped off the same block. Chertsey. Hello, Tony.
Oh, hi there, Nick. Yeah, I think the reason is because they're all part of the same ruling elite, from the same background, same schools, same families, all that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, but they don't all act like that, do they? I mean, if you're Minister for Health, then you don't act like the sort of performative, cruel behaviour that you see from the Home Secretary, whoever they happen to be at any given moment.
Well, I think they do pretty much act very, very similarly. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about that, Nick. Right. What I wanted to ask you was, you sound very agreeable. That's unlike you, Nick. Sorry about that. About that.
Was that a question?
You accept my apology there.
Was that a question?
What? Which one?
Well, you said you wanted to ask me something, and then you said, I sound very agreeable. That's not a question. What's the question?
No, that was a reaction to what you said.
Oh. So what do you want to ask me?
Do you think your life would be much, much, much simpler and better if you didn't have a car?
No.
Why not?
That's my considered response. Well, because it's...
Tell us two good reasons.
Right, okay. First reason is I live quite some way away from the nearest public transport. Mm-hmm. It would be quite difficult to haul shopping back to where I live without a car. Couldn't really do it. Not feasible, unless I ordered a cab, but that's a car.
What about a bicycle with a trailer?
But then, Tony, I would be one of those people on a bicycle with a trailer, and I do not want to be one of those. No offence.
Why not?
Well, because it's a bicycle with a trailer.
Yeah, so?
Are you a person that has a bicycle with a trailer?
I used to have up until a few days ago, when I left it outside my house, intending to go up the dump, because I had an old mattress on the trailer. Oh, yeah. And then, I was arguing with my granddaughter for about a quarter of an hour. Then when I came out, he had gone.
You were arguing with your granddaughter for a quarter of an hour?
Yeah, about that, yeah. She's very difficult.
As opposed to her granddad?
Well, no, I'm not difficult.
Of course not. So somebody stole a bicycle with a trailer and an old mattress on it.
That's right. I tied it on all nicely because I'd modified the trailer out of it's a sort of packaging thing made of plastic, quite big, about a metre long and about a metre wide. And
well, that sounds like an unstable load then, unless it was a mattress for a baby.
No, it's got quite a broad base, about 3 foot. So, no, it wasn't unstable.
It's 3 foot wide.
Yeah.
That sounds like a hazard to
sorry,
pedestrians.
no, 3 foot long. 3 foot long.
3 foot long, right?
Yeah.
It's still
only about foot and a half wide.
A foot and a half wide and 3 foot. What kind of a mattress could you secure to? I mean, it would be bouncing over the edge of it, surely.
No, you fold it up and then tie it.
Oh.
Oh, you mean you haven't come across that solution to the mattress problem, then? Nick?
Folding mattress, right.
Well, I mean, they all fold. It depends what you want to do with them.
Origami, an origami bed. I get it.
Yeah, well, could do.
So what are you going to do without your bike?
Oh, get another one eventually when the car boot sales open again. That's where that one came from. For only £70. And it was an excellent bike. Loads of gears, all the gears, and it was pretty good. Yeah, I was annoyed about that, but you don't get that annoyed when it was only 70 quid 5 years ago.
Right. You know what you want? A car.
What?
It's like a bike, but better.
No.
Yeah.
I want to be part of the solution, Nick, not part of the problem.
Right. Okay. Well, you be part of the solution, and I'll just continue doing my evil thing, and by that method, we'll balance out. What do you say?
Okay.
All right.
I thought you might.
It's a deal. Thanks a lot, Tony. Whoever nicked his bike, give him his bike back, for crying out loud. This says Rishi Sunak is going to spend all his time at COP trying to convince world leaders and delegates that he really is the Prime Minister of the UK, not the blonde imposter, and he has a name tag with PM on to prove it, says Paul. I bet that happens. I bet that actually happens. People will be bounding up to Boris Johnson and shaking him warmly by the hand and, congratulating on his time in office.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Because he's the famous one, right? That's why Fishy had to go, because Bodger was going to go. And if Bodger had gone, then he would be, by default, the Prime Minister of this country in the eyes of the foreigners assembled there. What an absolute shower. And by the way, the initial reason that Fishy Sunak gave that he couldn't go was that he was busy. Very, very busy on important government-related business that had to do with our welfare and benefit. So why isn't he going to be doing that anymore then? How come he's freed himself up? What, we're not important enough anymore? It's all about his image? And what kind of business was it that he had to do? Getting photographs taken of him on the sofa, stroking a dog, by any chance? So that we could gaze into his brown eyes? Look at his hair, look at his ears, his skinny little tie. Isn't he an absolute dream?
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
This is absolute tosh.
0345 6060 973. Selzy. Hello, Maxine.
Oh, hello.
Oh, my God, you're loud.
I know, I'm here. I'm back again, my flower. I don't know what sort of show I've walked into. You got a man driving down the road on a bicycle with a bed on the back.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this world. It's bad enough, them on a bicycle without anything on the back. You know what I mean? Just put a few lights on your bike so we can see where you are, my love, so I don't run you over.
Wouldn't that be great if they actually put lights on so we can... They drive around in black clothing with no lights on, and they are then surprised when they bounce off your bonnet.
I know, and wreck my car. Well, anyway, I didn't phone you for that. Anyway, I will tell you something else, and your listeners, because I know they will be very annoyed if I don't tell them.
Right.
Me hedgehogs are all right. I ain't got me pigeons, never had no pigeons this year.
No pigeons?
No little baby squablets.
They are the worst-looking animal.
No, they're not. You like them, really.
Baby pigeons are the ugliest-looking things you've ever seen in your life.
Little babies. Anyway, let's on to your right. Now, here's what I want to put to you, right? Because I don't want to keep you on the phone too long, so I know you're a very, very, busy man, and I'm very tired.
Right.
Now, here's what I don't understand. You know the illegal people that come over here?
Well, they're not illegal, but go on.
Well, they come over, right? Now, they get £175 on their Aspen card when they come over. They can spend whatever they want, go shopping on Amazon or wherever.
Yeah.
Tesco's, anywhere they, Sainsbury's and other
put a
supermarkets.
down payment on a Bentley, yeah.
Yeah, they can do whatever. Well, no, don't tell Steve Allen that. He won't like that. He won't be very happy with you.
Right.
Yeah, you drop me. But they get that per week.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't. That's completely incorrect.
No.
It is completely incorrect.
It?
Yeah, 41.
So what do they get?
£41 a week.
And what do our old age pensioners get a week?
I don't know. How much is it?
So, is it 90 odd pound? No, less than that.
No, it's more than that.
No, the people that are coming over there, I promise you, they get £175 put on an Aspen card per week.
No, it's not. That's incorrect. The actual figure is £2,134 per year. Yeah. That's asylum seekers in the UK. £2,134 per year
and
from
they
state.
get free meals a day, yes?
What, would we prefer them to starve to death? Because you see, they're not allowed to work. That's the weird thing. There's
come over here. We'll work.
What exactly? There's a million.
And our pensioners, they all work. They don't get that sort of money in my flower pot. Do they? You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. There's a million jobs that need doing in this country, and there's no one.
No one wants to do them.
Exactly. So we have people who are coming here desperate to work, and we are insisting that they can't. They just got to sit there and wait till we process them, which takes months, if not years. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had enough of it. I'm not voting no more because I've had enough. Because it gets right on my nerves. Now, anyway, I'll go to a lighter side of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, I will be watching Matt Hancock being pushed out of a helicopter. I would get up there myself and personally push him out, make him eat all the bugs, grubs and everything else, make him clean the toilets out. Are you going to watch it?
No.
Why not?
I've never watched that show. I hate those shows. I'm not going to do it.
You know what? I've had a bet on him. I reckon he could win, you know.
I think that from what I've read, that people cannot wait to punish that man to the fullest extreme. I can't believe you get £400,000 for doing it. 400 grand.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's getting that money, but he is donating a lot of money to the Dyslexia Society.
Please, do me a... get lost, Maxine.
There's no need to be so rude.
No, hang on a minute. What I read was that he is giving his salary. Now,
you cannot read what you see in the papers.
I cannot believe what I read in the papers. So I don't know, but it doesn't prevent me from having a strong suspicion that what he meant by that was that he was going to donate the salary of the weeks that he's in Australia, not his entire year's salary. I would, my guess would be, I don't know whether this is true or not, that the amount that he's giving is applicable to the time that he's away. That's my guess.
Yeah, but you know he's never going to go back into politics, is he?
I bet he'd be back at the drop of a hat. It is also true that he's got a book out, so that may have
probably
some.
Mate, you've got to watch it though, because
I'm not
some of these people that are in the jungle, they're going to give him some grief.
Yeah,
they make him eat.
I don't care. I'm not watching it.
Kangaroo
part. Don't say it, Maxine. If he is going to eat kangaroo parts, then there is one thing you must remember. You must, and this is very important. You want to write this down. You must remember, Maxine. Okay. Are you listening to me?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm writing it down as you speak. Come on, hurry up.
If you are going to eat kangaroo parts, you must ensure that they are not still attached to the kangaroo.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something, my darling. When we was in COVID, he didn't mind who he was attached to, did he? So it really doesn't matter, does it?
And on that unpleasant note, thanks a lot, Maxine. 0345 6060 973. I might talk about him tomorrow. I'm running out of time now, and but it's a packed show. Lewisham, hello, Barry.
Hi there, Nick.
Barry.
Hi. I was going to get into a rage about the cycle hatred. I think Tony was a wonderful guy. He had a great idea about the trailer. Maybe I'm showing my age, but it sounded wonderful. A little trailer on the back, and you carry your stuff.
I guess so. It sounds a bit wonderful. Dutch.
Yeah, but it's really practical, and it saves the world. We're doing our bit.
Okay, I'm fully on board.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to actually have one myself.
And by the way, I usually wear yellow, and people still aim at me anyway. So yeah.
But do you wear lights?
Lights, yellow. I do all the safety bits. Right. No one cares. I've even got a light on my helmet. No one cares.
It's just you then, Barry, because the amount of people I see on bikes, and they're just shadows. You can barely see them. They're wearing black clothes on a bike with no lights.
I know. We've got differences about bicycles. We'll agree to disagree. But if the Dartford charge, I think. Right. It's symptomatic of all the problems in this country. And I think if you get fined, then you should start the glorious revolution yourself. And you should lead it. Because there's a number of problems. In the first instance, it shouldn't be in place. It was only supposed to pay for the bridge. And then it was supposed to end. And then they carried it on as a cash cow. Right. And then on top of that, you get the lady getting fined. Hundreds of pounds. Only a judge can fine you. You know what I mean? Who gives them the right to fine you and just lay this additional mad penalty charge?
I don't think only a judge can fine you. That can't be true.
Yeah. That's the law. Well, this is the other problem.
I doubt
it. It's a constitutional issue because, in fact, only a judge can fine you because the English Bill of Rights says so. And therefore, if all of the rest of these penalty charges that they apply, they're penalty charges, they're not fines. And they're a bit much, and it seems like the British people are the asset. You know, that's how people make their money.
Yeah.
By dragging it, extracting it out.
We're more like a cow, ready to be milked. Yeah.
That's pretty much all we are. And the problem with that is that drains the economy because then the money that we're then giving to these companies, for these private interests, for these people to keep milking us. That means that the economy is getting drained and we're not spending money in the shops. And then the shops are not thriving. And then they're not employing people. And then we have problems. And then we also have the Brexit issues and everything and the private around the country. And it's like, I think you need to start the revolution, Nick. And this is all because of the Dartford charge. I've realised this.
Right. So the revolution starts tomorrow at 9? Or 10?
I'm with you. Give
9 is a bit early. Let's start at 10. Well... 10's sort of close to lunch. We'll start after lunch. After lunch tomorrow, the revolution. Are you with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Or, you know what? Tomorrow's Saturday. Perhaps we should skip the weekend and start it first thing on Monday morning. Not first thing on Monday morning, of course. Maybe like 2 in the afternoon on Monday, but then most of Monday's gone. So how about Tuesday? Tuesday it is. Thanks a lot, Barry. 0345 6060 973. This says, I think you will find that Bodger was invited to COP by the Assyrian Empire having turned down the Hittites and the Babylonians out of modesty, says Paul. He knows him so well. And this says, this morning, listening to one of your old podcasts from January 2019, I heard an impression of Alan Bennett and Julian Clary's love child. I was hoping to hear it again now that Rishi has squeezed a little Gavin Williamson back into the cabinet. Yeah, for a limited period only, I bet. I don't recall what that impression would sound. I have a vague idea what that sounds like. I don't recall doing it. I mean, January 2019 is quite some while ago. But the old podcasts are still available. They are available on the Global Player. That's where you can get them. Global Player, which you really should have. It's got all the stations we do. Many. I was going to say boatloads, but then it came out many podcasts, enough to amuse you from now until the end of time, which could be, any moment now. Global Player, download it from Apple or Android. It's also available on your PC. You can just use it as a web page. And if you've got one of them stupid smart speakers, then the magic phrase is open a Global Player and play Nick Abbot, The Whole Show podcast. I know that's a lot of words. Open Global Player and play Nick Abbot, The Whole Show podcast. The Friday and Saturday night shows get squirted up the internet as a podcast for your entertainment and delight. We take the news and the ads out. Takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and you still won't be able to pay your fuel bill. But every little helps, yes? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Alan Bennett and Julian Clary's love child. I really can't remember how that sounds. Does it sound like this? Maybe a little bit.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Yes, hello. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Yes, I've mostly been waiting for a call in Bodmin from Malcolm. Malcolm.
Hello, Nick. How are you, mate?
I am great.
Nick, a couple of things. You had a text earlier from, I think, Simon talking of Ranjit up in obrien fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
And he said something like, he's well friend. I think straight to my mind came the old Hale and Pace sketch. God, must have been in the 80s or 90s. The two fellas at the bar, and the one says to the other one, I heard you was well hard. So it's an expression of a lot, yeah, or like. I think the person was saying he likes Ranjit. Do you not think?
No, I've got absolutely no idea what you're talking about. But let's just leave that there and move on, yeah.
I'll move on. Nick, whose the refrain is, tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime?
I believe that was Tony Blair.
Who was it? Because I thought it was the Tories.
No, I think it was Tony Blair, wasn't it?
All right, my bad.
Well,
now,
you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's all of them. They all say the same blooming thing. They want more police on the streets. They want a better NHS and the sun to shine more, and you'll get more money. They all say the exact same thing.
Right, bit of a hot potato all day today. Brexit, with the former head of the Bank of England, Mr. Carney.
Yeah.
He's off on one. But for me, we've been tough on the causes of Brexit, i.e., 4 Conservative Prime Ministers, all gone over Brexit.
Yeah, that's right.
And what I want to know is, when are we going to get tough on Brexit? That's what I want to know, Nick.
As in reverse it, because that's what the majority of the people want.
Yes. Well,
I think the answer to that is never, because even though the majority of the people want to go back into the EU, they aren't the ones that shout the loudest. We are being run by whoever shouts the loudest.
Right, well, Nick, this morning I had a bit of a moment. I emailed Keir Starmer with a suggestion. And the suggestion is that the Labour Party and the opposition parties put a bill into Parliament soon And the bill says that at the next general election, we should have a question on the ballot paper. Should we remain out of the European Union or should we rejoin? It's on election day, so there's no extra cost. If Keir Starmer wants to say it's indicative, fine, he can say it's indicative. But my guess is there will be a whopping majority for it. And it'll be no surprise to me, but I would suggest that a lot of people would be surprised how many Conservative MPs would vote for such a vote.
Well, the majority of them didn't want to leave in the first place.
Exactly. So,
including those who were trying to sell it to us, like Boris Johnson himself.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, he was singing the EU's praise before all of that mess started because of David Diddy Cameron wanted to shore up support for himself on the backbenches.
I think this is nonsense.
We're still not missing you, Dave.
Well, I would suggest, Nick, that LBC listeners of the right persuasion message Keir Starmer and suggest exactly what I was suggesting.
Right, he ain't going to make no difference whatsoever. He's not going to touch Brexit with a barge pole. He's already said on this station that it's settled. We have absolutely no intention of going back in or even considering it or entering the single market or any of that stuff. So, like I said, they're all frightened of the people that shout the loudest. Oh my God, this country is being run by the Farrago.
I'm a nutcase.
No, but he's got all the evidence. He needs it. He's got 4 Conservative prime ministers. If I was him, I wouldn't want to be a 5th prime minister who loses it all over Brexit. Because he will, Nick. He will, honestly, because...
Well, there's no making a success of it. It's a failure. You can't make a success of a failure. It's failed already, and all we can do is manage the failure. You can't manage a failure into a success. Can't be done.
But the point I would make, Nick, is the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again, and all of it, and that's an easy out for him. He simply says there's a groundswell in the country. Yeah. You know, I'm for what the majority want.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Well,
but not to him, I bet.
I suggest that people email him because the more he gets to hear it, Nick, the better, my friend.
Well, it can't hurt, I suppose, unless they're keeping a list. And we'll be doling out the punishment later to, those who are an issue. Thanks a lot, Malcolm. 0345 6060 973. This says, I paid the charge, the Dartford Tunnel. I paid the charge, but 48 hours late, as I only came over the bridge when diverted by my Google Maps due to congestion on my usual route. I got hit with a £191 fine as they sent the original fine to the wrong address. This rose to £424 12 days later as I refused to pay. See, now that's exactly what I'm expecting. God. I will try that tomorrow. I'll try and call them up and see what happens, and I will report back. But you'll colour me amazed if I report a success. Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Hi.
Jan.
Good evening, Nick.
Yes.
Good evening.
Jan.
Enjoying your show.
Thanks.
I rang up to share some thoughts about your experience of Norwich.
Oh, my experience of Norwich, yes.
Yeah, how lovely it is.
It really is.
Now, I just wondered, like the most famous daughter of Norwich is what sort of my picture of Norwich in a way. I was taken there when I was a lot younger, so a few decades ago. And I know a lot of the English countryside is beautiful when you're going through it.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know of Julian of Norwich?
Julian of Norwich.
There's parallels to her life and how we lived in lockdown, because she ended up living her life in total lockdown.
Are you saying, hang on, are you saying Julian or Julia?
Yeah, Juliana, well, it was of Norwich.
Juliana of Norwich. Who's Juliana of Norwich?
Well, she's she's one of Norwich's most famous daughters.
Oh, one of those famous people. I've got no idea who they are.
She was a mystic. She lived a life in. She lived most of her life in lockdown, which was a sort of, getting parallels between what it was then, like the plague, lockdown to the 14th, 15th century.
Oh, we're talking. So she's not listening to this right now. She's been dead for hundreds of years.
Well, she might be, Nick.
Right.
She might be, because she lived a life of total lockdown, the latter part of her life after illness, because she lived at the time of the plague in the 14th and 15th century, right?
Right.
And she became a Christian mystic. She lived in a cell, a life of lockdown, complete lockdown, or however beautiful it was. Well, there was a plague on. But she never went anywhere. It's quite shocking when you think of it. But I don't know how she lived a total life, more than 50 years in total lockdown in a cell,
right,
attached to a church. Do you know of that church?
Which one?
St. Julian Church.
Well, I went into 3, 2 of which were cathedrals. So if it was a church, then it was probably the other one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe people. I don't know. I came across her as well going on a retreat once, but she's the first female writer in the English language, and she wrote Revelations of Divine Love.
Right. Well, that's another new one on me. It's is it a book?
Yeah, it's a book. It's about her Revelations.
Okay. I'll wait till the video comes out. It'll take less time to get to the end to it. Huh?
No, but she was so positive, although she lived like a prisoner with a garden. But T.S. Eliot used her most famous lines at the end of one of his poetries in the 4 quartets, like "All shall be well, all manner of things shall be well."
Ah, poetry.
Boring.
Please tell me less about poetry.
Oh, you don't like poetry?
Not really.
No,
no.
That was what she
No
wrote,
one
and
does.
he put it in his poems. He used her.
Right.
Her
Well, that's what I
lines.
heard. Yeah, she was very, very, for somebody who spent their entire life in a cell, very successful.
No, but I don't know. She's a well-known mystic.
Well,
A Christian mystic. They call her an anchorite.
Well, it's all a mystery to me. But I tell you what, Jan, if you want to be delighted no end, then go to Norwich, because I think you'll find it's lovely.
Yeah, well,
I'll reserve a space in a cell for you for the foreseeable future. How does that sound?
It was amazing though, but she was joyful. She was joyful, whereas us when we're in a lockdown and we got
joyful to spend her life in a cell connected to a church. She must have been out of her mind. I don't know what she was drinking, but I'd be delighted to receive a couple of pints of it right now, as a matter of fact. Jan, I've got to go, but thanks for the, whatever that was. Thanks for the, whatever that was. 0345 6060 973. Sidcup. Hello, Sean.
Oh, hi. I've never been to Norwich. I do know somebody who has. Alan Partridge recommends it's great.
Yeah,
anyway, we're talking about paper cups.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about paper cups. Funny enough, I went the other day to a well-known, they sell coffee, and I brought my cup with me, ceramic, I might add. They went there with my other half, and 2 cappuccinos. I gave one in my, gave my ceramic cup. Okay, thank you, Sean. Anyway, so I was drinking my coffee, and I happened to download a podcast, right? And funny you're talking about Juliana, or Queen Juliana of Norwich, or wherever. Anyway, it was Julian Clary, and it says, what if Julian Clary was to have a love child with Stephen Fry? What would he or she look like? And it came back as Kenneth Williams. Right, so I'm sure you know matron, and so anyway.
Can I ask you a question about this, Sean?
Of course.
Where's this going?
I've no idea.
Oh, great. Well, I certainly am glad that you called.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Come on, we're running late.
0345 6060 973. Let's have Falkirk. Hello, John.
Hello.
John.
Hello.
Yes, John.
Hi, Nick.
Let me say it again.
Hello.
Yes, John.
Hi, Nick. First-time caller. Long-time admirer.
No kidding. Well,
right. I would
glad to
just
talk
like
to you.
Okay, so do I have to be funny?
Pardon?
Do I have to be funny?
Let me think about that. I'll put you on hold. I don't know. Sounds slightly threatening. Wisbeach, Alan.
Hello, Nick.
Alan.
Look, you're on about Norwich.
Oh, yes.
Well, the Nimmo twins, if you can get a ticket, because they're like gold dust,
do you
want to go and see the Nimmo twins, because they are so funny.
What are they called?
Nimmo twins.
Spell.
Nimmo. Twins.
Nimmo.
Twins.
The Nimmo twins.
Yeah, they're not twins, actually.
Neither are they called Nimmo. So
they call themselves Nimmo twins, but they're not twins.
Not twins, right. That's the funny part.
Well, no, they are very, very funny.
Right. And what's that got to do with Norwich?
Well, because they are from Norwich. They perform in Norwich, and
Right.
if you can get a ticket for any of their gigs
in Norwich, you'd have to go to
in
Norwich. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go to Norwich. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a plan.
Well, I'm telling you, if you had a night out or one of theirs, if you can get a ticket, because they're like gold dust, they are very well worth seeing.
Right. Well, thanks for the swerve there, Alan. I'm going to put them on my list.
You bet you won't.
I'll commit it to memory.
Should.
Yeah, I should. I maybe won't, but I should. I definitely should. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. All right. Thanks a lot, Alan. 0345 6060 973. Belfast. Hello, Brendan.
Hello, Nick. You sound well.
Thanks.
This is an aerodynamic type.
It's a what?
Aerodynamics. It's all about aerodynamics. The first thing is, it was Cruella Braverman that I rang up about. Before we get that, if you'll allow me. A while back, I listen to you quite regularly and love it, but you had mentioned a bird that I don't think you ever got to identify.
Not really, no.
Well, on the BBC Irish website today, I had seen a bird yesterday. I know nothing about ornithology, absolutely nothing. But I like to feed the birdies, and
yeah,
I like to see them coming into the garden and stuff.
You like to hear that beautiful bird song?
Yes, I do. And I saw a bird 2 days ago, and I couldn't figure out what it was, but I just let it go. I thought, well, I don't know anything about it, so why should I be able to identify it? It's just that I had never
this
seen
echoes my experience entirely, because I saw a bird and I didn't know anything about birds either. So it's almost like we're cosmic twins. So describe this bird to me.
Yes. It's almost a flight of fancy here. But, that was bad. But this bird, I'm wondering if you, I know you have a super duper fast computer there. I'm wondering, is the bird, I'd found out what the bird was that I saw.
But describe it to me.
Well, I can do better than that. It's on the BBC website, and it's called the...
Yeah, but I'm doing a show at the moment. Just tell me what it looked like.
Well, it's very small. It has long, thin legs.
Yeah.
Its legs are almost longer than the body.
Yeah, it looked like its legs
had
were...
a flash of green.
Right, it looked like its legs were too long.
Yeah.
Like it looked unstable on such long legs.
Yes.
Was it? And it was a tiny little body, about a body the size of a robin.
Smaller than a robin.
Right, like I said, smaller than a robin. and legs that were way too long for it. And it was sort of greyish.
Yes. Well, it was on when I noticed. I read the news, obviously, like most people, and it was on the website, the BBC website, in the main news because it has only been spotted 3 times in the whole of Ireland, and it was spotted again a couple of days ago, and I thought, God, I saw that.
What is the name of this bird?
It is called the Pallas, Pallas, leaf warbler, and it's actually from China.
China.
So,
yeah.
And so I don't know if that was the bird that you saw, but it's new to these islands, and it's when has appeared, it is highly reported upon by the Twitchers.
Now, let me ask you this: what was the bird doing at the time when you saw it?
It was sitting on my back fence until my dog barked at it.
Right. Well, that would have that effect to make it scarper, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you do have a look at the Pallas leaf warbler, Pallas, not P-A-L, thank you. Anyway, Cruella Braverman.
Right, we just dropped that one there and carry on.
Yeah, well, we're still aerodynamic. We're still up in the sky. The Cruella Braverman and her Chinook foray into the concentration camp is unbelievable. But today, again, on the BBC, and I read this and again thought of Cruella Braverman because there's speculation, no more than that, totally unsubstantiated, but there is rife speculation that Cruella Braverman and or Rishi Sunak visited Belfast today, and there were 4 Typhoon low-flying fighter jets. I'm serious, and there's videos that farmers and people around Belfast, and you can hear the screams of these 4 Typhoon.
They do make a noise.
Oh, well, we have never heard those ever.
Actually, there was at least 3 or 4 of those fighter jets that flew over Norwich when I was there. I was just there for a couple of days. But even if they're really, really high up in the sky, they make such a racket. And it's unlike a commercial plane. It's not like that kind of sound. It's like a screaming banshee wail from hell. And so you look up, and even through the mist and the cloud, you can still see that unmistakable shape of, the flying death machine as it went over Norwich. I don't know what Norwich had done to deserve that.
I'm shocked that you used banshee so familiarly in your conversation there, because banshee is an Irish ghost. So there you are.
An Irish ghost.
Yeah. They used to pay people to go to funerals in Ireland to cry, walk behind the coffin and cry, and then they would come back as ghosts, and that's what a banshee is.
Wow.
So there you are.
Stuff you learn on this show. I am stunned.
Educational, isn't it?
A little bit educational, yeah. Every now and again.
So Cruella Braverman. So the fort, we have never, I think it's a diplomatic faux pas for the RAF to fly anywhere across Northern Ireland because it's so close to the border with
the EU.
Yeah, so they never, during the whole 40 years of the trouble...
let's assume that you are imagining it and no such thing happened.
No, well, it's not. You can see the videos on BBC.
Right.
You know, because lots of people actually took videos.
But let's assume that Cruella Braverman did not arrive in a fast jet fighter plane.
Well, that could be true.
Yeah, or she just didn't arrive at all. But unfortunately, Brendan, we've come to the end of this super show. But in closing, the Pallas leaf warbler sounds like this. Cruella Braverman, like that. I'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock. If you subscribe to the Global Player and the Whole Show podcast, then this show will get squirted up your life as though by magic, almost instantaneously.
Leading Britain's conversation, LBC.